Have you ever felt that unsettling presence at the exact moment when darkness takes over the room and you close your eyes, as if something invisible were observing every movement of your soul, preventing peace from reaching you? And if I told you that there is a sequence of just 5 words in Hebrew, guarded for millennia in the sacred texts of the Jewish people, capable of expelling this disturbing force and leading you to the deepest and most protected sleep you've ever experienced? I'm not talking about magic. I'm talking about something much older and more powerful, the language of creation, the same words that the Eternal used to bring light to chaos, order to the void, and that can now bring serenity to your restless heart. You need to understand something essential before we continue together on this journey. The evil that pursues you during the night is not an external entity that comes from outside to haunt you. It dwells within you. Yes, within your unresolved thoughts, your silent guilts, your fears that you push under the rug of consciousness during the day, but that explode in the darkness when you try to rest. Jewish tradition teaches that sleep is a miniature of death, a moment when you temporarily return your soul to the Creator, and that's why it's so sacred, so vulnerable. When you can't sleep in peace, it's not because something out there wants to harm you. It's because something inside you hasn't yet been reconciled with the divine truth that inhabits every cell of your being. The sages of Israel discovered centuries ago that words are not just sounds that come out of your mouth. They are living forces, energetic entities that shape realities. In Kabbalah, this concept is called Koch Hedibur, the power of speech. Every word you pronounce creates waves in the spiritual universe. And when that word is in Hebrew, the sacred language of creation, it carries an even greater potency. Because each Hebrew letter is not just a symbol, it's a channel of divine light, a frequency that resonates with the very foundations of the cosmos. When God created the world, He did so through words, and those words were in Hebrew. This means that you, by pronouncing Hebrew with pure intention, are literally using the language of creation to reorder the chaos of your own life. Now answer me with sincerity. How many nights have you spent tossing and turning in bed, with your mind racing, reliving conversations that have already happened, worrying about situations that might never happen, feeling a weight in your chest that you don't even know where it comes from? How many times have you woken up in the middle of the night with your heart pounding, sweating coldly, with the feeling that something terrible is about to happen, even though everything around you is silent? This is the evil visiting you, but not in the way you imagine. This evil is separation, the disconnection between you and the source of life, between your soul and the Creator. When you are spiritually misaligned, when your kavana, your intention, is impure or confused, you become vulnerable to all the internal shadows you carry. Kavana is the key to everything. Without it, the most sacred words in the universe become just empty sounds. With it, even a sigh can become a prayer. Kavana means spiritual concentration, but it's more than that. It's the purity of intention. It's you directing all your consciousness, all your faith, all your being toward a single point of encounter with the divine. When you recite a Jewish prayer without kavana, it's like playing a harp without strings. There's no music, no connection, no power. But when you put kavana into every syllable, into every breath between the words, you open a portal between the worlds. You invite the divine presence, the Shekinah, to descend upon you and dwell in your heart. Let's dive deeper into this, because you need to feel the weight of what I'm revealing to you. Tradition tells that when Yaakov, our patriarch, fled from his brother Esav and spent the night in the desert, he used stones as a pillow and fell asleep under the stars. That night, he dreamed of a ladder connecting earth to heaven and saw angels ascending and descending. When he woke up, he exclaimed, "Truly God is in this place, and I did not know it." That moment was not just a dream, it was a spiritual initiation. Yaakov learned that sleep, when lived with sacred awareness, can be a portal to divine revelations, a moment when the soul rises and connects with higher dimensions of reality. But for that to happen, you need to prepare the inner ground. You need to expel the evil that prevents the ladder from forming. Evil, from the Jewish perspective, is not an autonomous force that acts independently of God, because nothing exists outside divine unity. Evil is the illusion of separation. It's when you forget that everything is one, that everything emanates from the Creator, and you get lost in the fragmentation of the ego, uncontrolled desires, fears that paralyze you. Expelling evil is remembering the truth. Einod milvado. There is nothing besides Him. When you internalize this truth, when you feel it vibrating in every cell of your body, evil has nowhere to cling, because you are no longer feeding the illusion of separation. Now pay attention, because I'm going to reveal something to you that can completely change the way you relate to sleep and spiritual protection. There is a millennia-old practice in Judaism, passed down from generation to generation, of reciting specific words before sleeping. It's not superstition, it's not magical thinking, it's spiritual technology. These words function as codes that reprogram your consciousness, that realign your soul with the frequency of divine peace. Among these practices, there is a sequence of 5 words in Hebrew that carries an extraordinary power of protection and serenity. These words are not new. They come from the sacred texts, from the Psalms, from the blessings that our ancestors recited when they entrusted their souls to the Creator before closing their eyes. Think with me. Do you know why the mezuzah is placed on the door of Jewish homes? Because it contains the Shema Yisrael, the declaration of faith that affirms the unity of God. And when you pass through that door, you are reminded that you are entering a space protected by divine awareness. The mezuzah is not an amulet. It's a symbol of intention. It's you declaring that in that space God dwells, and therefore evil has no permission to enter. The 5 words I'm going to teach you function as an invisible mezuzah around your mind and heart. They create a field of spiritual protection that wards off everything that disturbs, everything that fragments, everything that prevents you from resting in the presence of the eternal. But before revealing these words to you, you need to understand what it really means to sleep in peace in the context of Jewish spirituality. Every night, according to the sages, when you fall asleep, your soul ascends to the divine throne and gives an account of the day that passed. That's why there is a specific prayer for before sleep, a confession called vidui, where you acknowledge your faults and ask for forgiveness. This is not a ritual of guilt, it's a ritual of cleansing, of purification. You are washing your soul before returning it to the Creator. When you don't do this cleansing, when you try to sleep carrying the weight of unresolved actions, unspoken words, unhealed hurts, your soul gets stuck, it can't ascend, and you become agitated, disturbed, because there is a disharmony between what you are and what you should be. The peace that Judaism offers you is not the peace of ignorance, not the peace of someone who flees from problems. It's the peace of bitachon, of absolute trust in God. Bitachon is when you know, with every fiber of your being, that you are in the hands of the Creator, and that everything that happens in your life, absolutely everything, is aligned with a divine purpose that you may not understand now. But that makes sense within the great narrative of creation. When you have bitachon, you can close your eyes even in the face of danger, because you know you're not alone, that there is an invisible presence guarding you, protecting you, loving you with a love that transcends any human love. Now let's talk about the sound of Hebrew words, because this is fundamental. Each letter of the Hebrew alphabet has a specific vibration, a sound that resonates with one of the 10 Sephirot, the divine emanations that structure reality according to Kabbalah. When you pronounce a Hebrew word correctly, you are not just communicating a concept, you are activating spiritual forces. You are plucking the invisible strings that connect the material world to the divine world. That's why Jewish prayers are sung, not just spoken. Singing elevates the vibration, transforms the word into music, and music is the language of the soul. The 5 words I'm going to reveal to you soon are not just a magical formula that you repeat mechanically. They are an inner map, a path that you travel with your consciousness. Each word represents a stage of the spiritual transformation that happens when you expel evil and welcome peace. The first word connects you with divine unity, reminding you that you are not separate from God. The second word purifies you, washing away the impurities that accumulated during the day. The third word protects you, creating an invisible shield around your soul. The fourth word elevates you, allowing you to rise spiritually even while your body rests. And the fifth word seals you, closing the cycle of protection and delivering you completely into the hands of the Creator. Have you ever stopped to think why in synagogues there is always a lit flame? The Ner Tamid, the eternal light that never goes out. It represents the human soul, which is a divine spark that never dies, even when the body sleeps or when physical life ends. This flame reminds you that you are eternal, that your essence is divine, and that evil has no power over the light. Evil only exists in the shadows, in the absence of awareness, in the lack of knowledge. When you light the light of wisdom within you, when you remember who you really are, an eternal soul connected to the eternal, evil dissolves like mist under the morning sun. There is a story in the sacred texts about angels that visit people during sleep. They are not angels with wings like in paintings. They are spiritual forces, divine messengers that bring peace, guidance, and protection. These angels can only approach when you create the appropriate inner space, when you clean the energetic field of your soul through pure intention and sacred words. The 5 Hebrew words you're about to know are like an invitation to these angels, like you lighting a light in the window of your soul, so they know you are ready to receive them. But I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. Many people recite Hebrew prayers without understanding what they are saying, and yet they feel the effect. How is this possible? Because the power is not just in the intellectual meaning of the words, it's in the sonic vibration, in the frequency they carry. It's like a key that opens a lock. You don't need to understand the metallurgy of the key to open the door. You just need to use it correctly. However, when you unite understanding with vibration, when you know what you are saying and feel each word in your heart, the effect is multiplied exponentially. You are not just reciting, you are becoming the prayer. Think about Psalm 91, the one that begins with the words, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." This psalm has been recited for millennia as protection against dangers, against diseases, against everything that threatens life. Why? Because it's not just a beautiful poem, it's an absolute declaration of faith. It's you telling the entire universe that you have chosen to dwell in the presence of God, and that nothing can touch you when you are under this divine protection. The 5 words I'm revealing to you have the same essence as this psalm. They are a concentrated version, a pure distillation of protection and peace. Now let me explain something about the structure of Jewish prayers. They are not random, not beautiful words thrown together. Each prayer has a spiritual architecture, a sacred geometry. The words are chosen not just for their meaning, but for their sonority, for the numerology of the letters, for the hidden codes they carry. In Kabbalah, there is a concept called gematria, which is the numerical value of Hebrew letters. When you add up the numerical values of a word, you discover mystical connections with other words that have the same sum, revealing deep layers of meaning. The 5 words I'm going to teach you were chosen also for this reason, because together they form a numerical code that resonates with the frequency of divine peace. Did you know that before sleeping, Jewish children are taught to recite a specific blessing, asking 4 angels to protect them during the night? Michael on the right, Gabriel on the left, Uriel in front and Raphael behind, and above the head, the presence of the Shekinah, the divine presence itself. This is not a meaningless childish ritual, it's a profound spiritual technology. You are creating a multi-dimensional field of protection. You are invoking sacred forces to guard your soul while you travel through the realms of sleep. The 5 Hebrew words you will learn have the same function, but in a more direct, more accessible, more powerful way for those who are beginning to awaken spiritually. The time has come for me to reveal these words to you. But before that, you need to do an inner preparation. Sit in a quiet place where you can be alone for a few minutes. Breathe deeply 3 times, feeling the air entering and leaving your lungs. With each breath, imagine that you are inhaling divine light and exhaling all worries, all fears, everything that weighs you down. Place your hand on your heart and feel the pulse of life within you. This pulse is the very pulse of the universe, the rhythm of creation. Now, with a clear mind and an open heart, you are ready. The 5 words are Adonai li velo ira. I will translate them for you with all care, because each word carries a universe of meaning. Adonai means the eternal, the sacred name of God. Li means with me, for me by my side. Velo means and not. Ira means I will fear. When you put it all together, the complete phrase says, the eternal is with me and I will not fear. But this translation is just the surface. In the depths of this phrase, there are layers and layers of spiritual power. You are declaring that the presence of God is so close to you that no fear can survive. You are affirming that evil has nowhere to cling because you are completely enveloped by divine light. These words come from the Psalms, from verse 118, verse 6, and have been recited by countless generations of Jews in moments of danger, anguish, fear. But they are not just for extreme situations. They are for every day, for every night, for every moment when you need to remember that you are not alone. When you recite Adonai li velo ira before sleeping, you are creating a circle of protection around your bed. You are declaring that that space belongs to the sacred, that their evil cannot enter, that there you rest under the wings of the Shekinah. Now I'm going to teach you how to recite these words with kavana, with the pure intention that activates their power. First, repeat each word slowly, feeling the sound of it in your mouth, in your throat, in your heart. Don't rush. Adonai, feel the reverence, the infinite greatness of the Creator. Feel the closeness, the intimacy of God with you. Velo, feel the negation of everything that is opposed to life, to peace, to light. Idra, feel the liberation from fear, the dissolution of all anxiety. When you finish reciting the 5 words, stay silent for a few moments, just feeling their vibrations still echoing within you. There is something else you need to know. These words are not a magical formula that works once and done. They are a path, a practice, a relationship that you build with the divine. The more you recite them, the more you live them, the more you allow them to transform you, the more powerful the effect becomes. Over time, you will notice that it's no longer you reciting the words. It's the words reciting you, transforming you, shaping you in the image and likeness of divine peace. You will notice that your sleep becomes deeper, more restorative. You will wake up with a sense of renewal that you haven't felt in years. And most importantly, you will realize that the evil that once haunted you no longer has power over you. But I need to warn you about something crucial. These words won't work if you recite them mechanically, without putting your heart into them. God doesn't care about lips that move. He hears the heart that beats behind the words. If you recite Adonai li velo ira just because I told you to do it, without believing, without surrendering, without trusting, it will be like planting a seed in dry soil. Nothing will germinate. But if you open your heart, if you allow faith to flood you, if you let go of control and trust that you are being sustained by divine hands, then you will experience a miracle. Not an external miracle, but the greatest of all miracles, inner transformation, the peace that transcends all understanding. Now I'm going to tell you a secret that the Kabbalists know. When you recite these 5 words, you are not just protecting yourself, you are also healing previous generations. In Judaism, it is believed that we are all connected, that the souls of our lineage are intertwined, and that when you elevate yourself spiritually, you also elevate your ancestors. When you expel evil from your life through faith and sacred words, you are breaking chains of suffering that come from far away. You are releasing blessings not just for yourself, but for your children, your grandchildren, and all the generations that will come after you. This is the responsibility and privilege of being part of the people who receive the Torah, the people who guard the sacred words. Are you beginning to understand now why these 5 words are so powerful? It's not because they are magical, it's because they are true. They express a fundamental truth of existence, that God is always with you, that you are never alone, that there is no reason to fear. When you internalize this truth, when it ceases to be an intellectual concept and becomes a lived experience, your entire life changes. The evil that once dominated you loses its strength, because you are no longer feeding it with your attention, with your fear, with your belief that you are separate from divine protection. I want you to understand also that these words are not exclusive to Jews. Although they come from the Jewish tradition, their power is available to anyone who approaches with respect, with humility, with the sincere desire to connect with the Creator. God does not show favoritism. What He seeks is an open heart, a soul that yearns for His presence. If you are one of those souls, then these words are for you too. Recite them, practice them, live them, and you will see that the peace you have sought so much outside has always been here inside, waiting for you to turn inward and find it. So starting today, this will be your new practice. Every night, before lying down, before closing your eyes, set aside a few minutes to connect with the sacred. Turn off your phone, remove distractions, light a candle if that helps you create an atmosphere of recollection. Breathe deeply and bring your attention to the present moment. Place your hand on your heart and feel life pulsing within you. Then, with all the reverence and intention you can muster, recite slowly, Adonai li velo ira. The Eternal is with me, and I will not fear. Repeat 3 times, 7 times, as many times as you feel you need, until peace descends upon you like an invisible mantle. And then surrender to sleep, knowing that you are protected, guarded, loved by the Creator of all things. This is the promise that Jewish wisdom makes to you, that when you align your life with the divine presence, when you speak the language of the soul, when you surrender with total trust into the hands of God, evil has no way to reach you. Not because you built walls around yourself, but because you have become transparent to the light. And where there is light, darkness cannot exist. Sleep in peace, child of the light. Sleep in peace, daughter of eternity. You are home, you have always been home, in the heart of the Eternal, who has never stopped loving you.